This is an Intel 8700K, i7 8700K. You think this would be great and it would be a perfect fit for, I don't know, a Z390? In its defense, it does fit. It just doesn't work. Okay, so some of you may remember that a couple videos ago, I got that Z390 that had, it wasn't tested because it had bent pins. Spent about 2 hours putting, making sure that the pins were in the right places. In the meantime, I had ordered a Celeron processor, two core, two thread, C4900, no, a G4900. Sorry about that, a G4900 Celeron. And it worked. It worked great. I did some testing. I went ahead and tested it with, I believe it was an RX 480. We got some decent results. Not great, but about what we'd expect. We ran a series of benchmarks and tests, and everything went fine. It went well. It went about as well as we expect with a two-core processor. Everything except for Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3, Claptrap just kept going across the screen for like 45 minutes, and it never went to the option screen or to play the game or anything. Ironically, Borderlands 4 did work. Gave us about 20 frames per second. Not great, but that's kind of actually better than I would have expected with two cores. So I thought, okay, in the meantime, or while we were doing this, I went ahead and ordered this 8700K that I found a pretty decent deal on eBay. It was used, got it, was all excited, did a video short on it, and yeah, 00. First of all, the fans came on, spun up, stayed at 100% on the CPU cooler, and it never actually went into, it never actually set, or never actually went into, I guess, the regular mode. It just stayed trying to initialize. I did look up the code 00, and it said that CPU failed to initialize. Could be a memory problem, could be a CPU problem, could be a board problem. The memory worked with the Celeron, all that stuff. I mean, I didn't have any issues. The board was already fixed. We think it's fixed, but we're not sure because we're trying a different processor in it. So while we're doing this and while we're waiting, I've tried several different things. I did go ahead and reset the BIOS. I did go ahead and try several different memory configurations. Tried one stick, tried two sticks, tried them in different slots, tried them, all the way through, to no avail. Made sure that all the power connections were there. The 24 pin, actually it's 20 plus 4, but a 24 pin. And on the power for the CPU, there's an 8 pin and a 4 pin. So I tried a couple of different, configurations with that just to make sure that, yes, that things are getting power the way they're supposed to be. Now, on a lot of motherboards, you will have two different sets of pins there. You will have some that one set for the CPU itself, and then one if you're going to do any overclocking or anything of that nature. One or the other should be fine. You won't be able to overclock if you don't have both of those sockets. I don't believe you'll be able to do much overclocking if both those sockets are full, but the main thing is to make sure it gets power. And I did verify that the CPU is getting power. It did get warm. I still kind of at a loss. So I switched back to the Celeron. Celeron works, no problem at all. I'm thinking it's not a board problem. Okay. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe it's a BIOS issue. Just maybe. I was thinking it's a Z390, shouldn't have any problems with the processor that came out before the board. But I went ahead and upgraded from the version 20 of the BIOS to version 30 of the BIOS, which was the last stable version. And yeah, it still didn't work. So at this point, I'm presented with a couple of issues. I think I have a working board. I do have a working board, at least with a processor that's in it. The Celeron processor does work. I have what I suspect is a bad processor, but I can't reach out to the seller yet because I can't verify for sure because I don't know 100% that the board is working. So I have to either get another board to test the socket, or get another board to test the CPU, or get another CPU to test the socket. It's sort of that 3-sock problem. It's the 3-sock problem. Okay, if you're in a dark laundry room and you're going to the dryer and you have to get a pair of socks, and you've got two different colors in there, you got two different colors in there. They're both the same weight, the same thickness, the same everything. They're just two different colors. How many socks do you have to pull out to make sure you get a pair? So that when you take it back in the room to get dressed, you have at least one pair of socks. You have to pull 3. two of those three are going to be the same. Two of those three are either going to be the same color, or all three of them might be the same color. Here, very similar. I have to have at least one other item to test with. I either have to have 3 CPUs or multiple motherboards or something like that. Not quite the same, but very similar. So I started looking for Optiplexes, Lenovo's, HPs, whatever, that might be a 9th gen, 8th or 9th gen that I could test and find out. Alternatively, I also started looking for CPUs that I wanted to be more powerful than the Celeron, but still be able to have enough power to run stuff and get some results. That CPU is going to be a 9400F, and it will be here in a couple days. It does not have its own video on it, which is why it's an F, but that i5 should have 6 cores, 6 threads, and I should be able to get some testing done while I try to figure out what I'm going to do with the next step. What am I going to do with the next step? Now, this presents me with a thing here because I did buy it on a platform. I bought it on eBay, so it does have buyer protection. I have not reached out to the seller yet. I want to make sure I can identify that is the problem. The problem is the problem. Yeah, we all got problems, right? The thing is, even if I get the 9400F and it works in this board, that does not mean that this is not the problem. It might be a problem, doesn't work in there, but it might not be the whole problem. The board still could be the problem. So I also kind of have to look for a cheap motherboard that I can, try this in. Ideally, something like a pre-built 9th gen pre-built would have been the great answer, because then I could go ahead and test the CPU in there, and I could test the CPU that was in the pre-built in this motherboard and find out one way or the other, or verify both. That's not the way it worked out. So instead, we just have to work on one leg of the problem, 3 CPUs in one socket. If 2 of the 3 are bad or 2 of the 3 work, then we can probably surmise that the other one is the problem. So that's what I'm going to do. It should be here in the next couple of days. I really wanted to give you guys a lot of tests. I really wanted to give you guys a show of what that processor would do with a 9600, a 9060 XT, not a 9600, a 9060 XT 8 gig. I don't have 16 gig money, the same as I don't have 9900K money, but I had 8700K money until I spent it, and it spent me. Anyway, we're going to give it our best shot. That other processor should be here. I'm going to wait to do the next short before I actually get it working and can verify. I do have some other thoughts, and maybe, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully I get this in enough time where I can reach out to the seller and say, hey, look, I might have a problem with this processor, and see what happens from there. eBay does have great buyer protection, and the other good thing about that is that your information doesn't get out there. You can go through a third-party payment like PayPal, so you don't have to worry about your credit card information out there. But it's just one option. There's a bunch of other options out there too. But in this case, I'm probably going to be in pretty good shape. We'll just have to figure out what happened. Whether I might keep it, I might not. We might see if I can get it to work on another board. I might risk going above that time frame just to do that, just to see, make sure. But I've bought stuff that doesn't work. Let's just say this whole channel doesn't work. But anyway, that's the way it is. So we are going to continue trying to test this thing. It might not be the next video, but it'll be coming up. And for this one, unfortunately, this 8700K just didn't make it. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to say buyer beware, because there's protections in place in a lot of platforms that do a great job of making sure that you're taken care of, in this case, like we're mentioning. But it's not always rosy. I did always promise that whether success or failure, I was going to share it with you guys. So guess what? Fail. Board works, we think. Celeron works, we know. Next processor, we'll find out, and that should be soon. Anyway, if you got anything out of the video at all, or you just feel bad for me, or just you've had a day like that yourself, go ahead and throw a like on the video. I spent about as much time trying to troubleshoot this as I did fixing the board in the first place, about 2.5 hours, trying to go through different things like resetting the CMOS and changing the power cables and the moving around the memory and all that stuff. I've tried several different things, including upgrading the BIOS from version 20 to version 30 to make sure I had the latest version, all of that stuff. And it just didn't quite work out. So, but yeah, if you got anything out of the video, like I said, throw a like on the video. If you're not already subscribed, please do. I would love if you hang around and find out what actually happens with this stuff, as well as some other stuff back over my shoulder over there. Don't forget to visit the other socials. And if you don't do any of those things, please just do me one favor, and that's be good to each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Smile, wave, hold the door open, any of those things. It's absolutely free. It costs nothing to be kind, and you might make somebody's day. You might even make your own day. Somebody might do that for you, you know? Then the world's just a little bit better place if we all look out for each other a little. So until I get myself into something I got no business getting into, and there's some of that stuff over there, like that battery backup that I don't know if it works right or not. It's just giving me an error I'm not familiar with yet, but I'll figure it out. So until I get myself into some of that stuff, that is all I have. So I'll see you later.